Hello everybody, I'm really sorry that I didn't do a video last week. I've been really busy. I had a lot of college work last week and my only day off I spent with my dad because it's his wedding in June, so we went suit shopping, me, my brother and his fiance's 2 sons. That was a really good day. Got some fancy suits for the wedding, which should be really good. But it did mean I unfortunately couldn't do my review show or my thoughts on my comics last week. And that's a shame because there were some really awesome books. I'm just going to flick over real quickly, not take up too much of your time, just showing you what I picked up last week and just general thoughts. So we got Revolutionary War, Super Soldiers. This is part 5 of 8, and this was a bad book, I'm afraid. Art not great, cover not great, cover completely misleading. They all look like clones of each other, whereas they're completely different people in the book. It didn't really forward the Mistec plot, which is unfortunate. And it was a big drop in quality from the Death's Head issue, which I thought was wicked. And this was really not very good. I'm a bit annoyed that they seem to be bringing in all these UK Marvel superheroes only to have them killed off. So maybe at the end of it we'll get a nice streamlined Marvel UK book. Maybe something along the lines of Captain Britain and MI13. Just bring that book back because it was brilliant. Maybe just the same team, you know, Paul Cornell, Leonard Kirk. Just an idea, Marvel, because this isn't good, unfortunately. 3 issues left, I'll stick with it. I want to see how it ends, how it wraps up, but sad about that. Guardians, issue 12, part 4 of the Charlie Jean Grey storyline. If you're not picking it up, and if you're picking up all new X-Men, give it a go. You'll see that it's along the same sort of vein. It's same comedy, same sort of story in it. Obviously because it's continuing on, but I mean like how it's written. It's the Guardians, the team, they're quite funny. I really enjoy this book. Sarah Pichelli's artwork, of course, is fantastic. So yeah, I really enjoyed this issue. I mean, apart from the Revolutionary War, last week was a brilliant week of comics. Everything else was, you know, 4 or 5-star books. Really enjoyed this one. Next we've got Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man, issue 28, Slott and Camuncoli. It was a brilliant book because it seems to have brought back the other people in Spidey's life, or Peter's life. We've got Mary Jane, and we've got Aunt May and J. Jonah Jameson. They're all in this book, and the goblins attacking them all, trying to get them all rounded up. And then we've got a cool bit with Peter in Otto's mind. He's trying to remember who he is, but he keeps getting bogged down by Otto's memories. Really good book. Definitely can't wait to see what happens next issue. The cliffhanger in this with Anne-Marie, I think that's her name, was brilliant. Really great book. Sad to see Superior go, but it had to happen eventually. Next we got 3, part 5 of 5, Kieron Gillen and Ryan Kelly with Geordie Blair and colours. This was brilliant. If you liked 300, get this book in trade. If you like Romans, history, all that sort of period, Spartans, Greeks, pick this book up. Brilliant. Really, you know, you do actually care about these 3 helots by the end of the story, and you realise just how horrible the Spartan people were. And it really, this story shows the demise of the Spartan Empire. Really great book, and definitely, you know, it's historically accurate. Obviously, probably didn't happen like this, but I mean, the way the Spartans are depicted, historically accurate. Really good book. I thoroughly enjoyed this miniseries. I've got to admit, I wasn't sure what to expect. Really great book. The Massive, issue 20 of 30, Brian Wood and Gary Brown. Yep, Gary Brown with, once again, Geordie Blair. She's everywhere. We're now 2/3 of the way through this book, and you realise how bad of a badass Mad is. Mag. The second in command. He's really quite tough. And then there are more reveals about Callum, and he's with somebody who you saw from the first couple of issues, and who has this responder, I think it's transponder, sorry, from, they're not really sure, they think it's from the Massive, But it's weird how the massive always seems to come and disappear, so there's a lot of mystery still in this book. And even more mystery when it comes to the character of Mary, who we haven't seen in a while, but in her absence has actually become a lot more of an interesting character. We seem to know less and less about her. The more we seem to find out about her, the less we know about her. It's a brilliant character, brilliant writing from Brian Wood. I don't think many people are reading this, but everyone who is seems to be thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait to see what the last 10 issues have in store for this, and that's the massive, really great book. Another fantastic read was Serenity Leaves on the Wind, Part 2 of 6, written by Zach Whedon and Georges Genti on art. If you liked, I'm not going to review this other than say, if you enjoyed Serenity, you enjoyed Firefly, you're picking this book up, and it has exactly the same feel of the TV show. It's along the same vein, everything, the story literally continues straight on. Great book. If this doesn't become a ongoing, I'll be thoroughly disappointed. At least, a couple of miniseries a year, I'd really enjoy it that way as well. So this is Serenity Leaves in the Wind, fantastic book. And another brilliant book was The Wake, finally. Had a long wait for this. This was issue 6 of 10. Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy. A big tonal shift in this book. Far less of the horror aspect and more of the action-adventure. With sort of thriller aspects, especially towards the end. We got these mermen. Humans just have they've got no hope, really. Apart from towards the very end of this book. They are living in these shanty towns on the sea. Our main character, Leewood, who we saw a bit in the first 5 issues, she's working, sort of doing illegal jobs, collecting these merheads who they sell, who she sells to, sort of like gangsters, I assume, and they make drugs, hallucinogenic drugs, out of the merheads. And then we've got the President of the United States, who seems to be a genuinely horrible woman, with the army. They're basically doing what they have to do to survive. Really great book. If you had not picked up The Wake and you saw this cover and you were interested, you can definitely pick up the first 5 issues in this one bumper-sized issue. I would recommend it. Or not, I'd wait until all 10 are collected in one, because it will be a brilliant read. Really enjoyed this book. Loved The Wake. And then finally for last week was Aquaman. This was issue 28. Jeff Parker and Paul Pelletier. This was my favourite book of last week. I'm a massive Aquaman fan. If you had to ask me my favourite superhero, I think Aquaman would probably be it. Many reasons why he's my favourite. But I've always been interested in this whole Atlantis thing in real life as well. I always watch these Atlantis programs on telly. I find it really interesting, and I really enjoyed this story. We seem to have a new underground base built by the humans. It's called Triton. Some of the Atlanteans think it's a slight on the humans' part. It seems to be a beachhead for the invasion, which they feel is going to come. We've got the scientist, I can't remember his name, was it Chin? Who has a lot of history with Aquaman. He's working on the Triton base, so Arthur automatically mistrusts everything that's going on there, but he still saves this diver because that's the sort of person he is, He's taken all this crap all his life, yet he still knows when he's got to do the right thing. And then the next part of the story is with Arthur's high school reunion. Sorry, I'm gonna have a quick drink here, loosen my tongue up. Other energy drinks are available, but should not be drunk because it's not as nice as that. And we got really funny bits with Mira, who's trying to find out more about Arthur's past girlfriends, and then we got this this man who scratched Arthur's car in high school, and he just has to come out. He's like, I scratched your car, and Arthur's like, oh, I couldn't even remember. But he does play it down with, you will never do that again. It was a really funny book. A lot of questions asked. We've got this diver who's, I think, had both his legs eaten and one of his arms, and this creepy sort of seedy scientist says, I know how to save him, I can save him. So yeah, I love this book. If you're not picking up Aquaman, I'd like to know why. I think people should probably give this series a fair crack at the whip. not just drop it because, you know, it's Aquaman. It's well written, it's beautifully drawn, and, you know, there are twists and turns in this. What Jeff Johns did for this book was incredible, and Jeff Parker seems to be just carrying it on, because it is a brilliant book. I was really scared when Jeff Parker took over, and I don't know why, because it was great. So those were my books from last week. I'm going to have a quick break and just show you what I picked up this week. It shouldn't be too long, maybe another 10 minutes. Thanks for sticking around, guys. See you in a bit. Just going to talk about what I picked up this week. 9 books in total this week, and apart from 2, I'd say this week, fantastic book again. I mean, fantastic week again. I doing these videos makes me realise just how much I love comic books and how much enjoyment I really get from them. So first off, probably my weakest book this week was Forever Evil Arkham War. Thankfully, this is the last issue I ever have to read of it, apart from the Bane Bat, which I unfortunately have to read. Just because I am a masochist and I quite like the pain that I put myself through. And if I'm being brutally honest with myself, this was probably the best issue of the series. Maybe that's because it's the last one. And maybe it's because we didn't have stupid Bane Bat and his Talon Robin sidekick in it. We've got the Gotham criminals. They're all toxined up because of Scarecrow. So it's basically a big throwdown. And I mean, that's what I wanted to see from the beginning. You know, it's silly, it's mindless, but it is just, you know, almost splash page after splash page of, you know, Poison Ivy, Clayface, Penguin, no, not Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Dr. Freeze, Killer Croc. They're all toxined up, venomed up. Venom? The Bane stuff. I think it's toxin, actually. I'm not sure. But it's literally splash page after splash page of these guys beating the crap out of Bane. And Bane still hangs on because he's Bane, you know. And at the very end of it, you know, Bane wins, of course, and he makes a deal with Penguin. And here he's got Scarecrow hostage, and Bane claims that he's finally won Gotham. It was the best issue of the series, but that's really saying, you know, saying very little. I'm glad it's over. I don't want to talk down on it too much. Green Lantern issue 28. We've got Robert Venditti, Billy Tan. Abandon all hope. Should I abandon all hope? I don't know. I don't want to drop a Green Lantern. I've dropped my other Green Lantern, but I can't drop both, right? I mean, we're just going through a rough time period at the moment with Green Lantern, so I'm going to stick with it. I didn't really understand much of what's going on. I don't know who the Khund are. We've basically got Hal Jordan probably doing the only decent thing he's done as a leader, and that's create like a small council of, you know, other Green Lanterns to help him decide what they've got to do. And that's quite a nifty idea. I quite like that it's not just going to be Hal leading with an iron fist, you know. He has to say goodbye to his family on Earth because he's given up Sector 2814 to the Red Lanterns. And we finally see Simon Baz, who I haven't seen in years, mate, it feels like. He was a really interesting character. I was really interested to see a bit more of of Simon Baz, and it just never came through. It never came to fruition. We never saw anything else from him. We got Saint Walker giving up all hope. That's getting a bit boring now. We know he's given up being a Blue Lantern, and that's a shame. The art's good enough. I quite enjoy Billy Tan's artwork, actually. The way he draws Hal and the light constructs are really good. I want Venditti off this book, and I'd never want to make someone lose a job, you know. But he's going to get the Flash book. Hopefully he does something good with the Flash. I've heard his Exo Man of War is brilliant. I will be checking that out in trade. It's just a shame that he's brought this book down so much. He's written himself into a corner, and I just think we've got to find a way of dropping that, you know, the whole reservoir of light. We need to drop that. And then we'll finally get back to some decent Green Lantern stories. And really, apart from those two, the next books are all, you know, really enjoyable. I enjoyed every single one of them. Hard for me to pick a favourite this week, especially from maybe my top three, sorry. It was really hard to pick between those. We've got Hinterkind. This is Ian Edgington and Francesco Trafogli. Issue 6. I love these covers. It's done by somebody else. It's not Trafogli. I'll see if I can find you. Probably should have had this at hand, because I have mentioned how much I enjoy the covers. Is it right at the end of this issue? Yeah, it is. The cover is by Greg Ticini. Craig Ticini, brilliant artist on the cover. I really enjoyed these. And actually, this issue sort of like took a jump up in the storytelling, in my opinion. I felt we got a lot of action in it. We've got Prosper, who escaped the underground base, which was basically it was brought down last issue. But she has to leave her grandfather, who's trapped. And he says, "Don't worry about me, I'll find my own way out." And she ends up bumping into the elf Hintkind, who the post-op, who cut his ears off, so it makes him look human, the bounty hunter. He also managed to escape the base. And she makes a deal with him, basically ties him up, and says, "You'll either help me get my grandfather out, or I'll kill you." So she seems to be, she's no longer so naive of the world. She seems to grow quite a lot as a character in this issue. And that's really good. I mean, he sees that, the elf sees that, so I can't remember his name. He sees that and he's like, "Cool, we'll make a deal, especially after you just knocked me out and tied me up. I'm in no position to argue." And then the next part of the story is with the Hintkind High Council, I think, or the royal family. We've got the Queen and the Princess. The Queen feels like we shouldn't wipe out all the humans, keep them as slaves. Not as slaves, but like as servants, you know, keep them happy. And then the Princess, she's a lot more brutal. She's like, "Well, they didn't do that for us, why should we do that for them?" And she makes a sacrifice, it seems like, in this book to save her mother. I'm pretty sure that she'll stay in it, because she's a very interesting character, and the dynamic between the mother and daughter, the Queen and the Princess, I want to see more of that. There seems to be a mutiny, a rebellion in the Hintkind. Some of them want to bring down the Queen, and some of them don't. And there was a nice battle in this. I'll see if I can get up some art of that lot. I do enjoy the art of the issues, but it's the colorist, I feel, when the weird lines just, once you've seen that, you can never unsee it, and that's a shame. I mean, it is a shame, because it would be such a better book if there wasn't just these weird lines all over the book. And then the ending, we seem to have some vampire-type creatures, I feel, in a giant blimp, which was really cool. I can't wait to see what happens next issue. Hintkind continues to be, you know, a slow burner, but this issue really bloomed up for me, I feel. Enjoyable. Trillium, inside out, flipsy flurv, tipsy-turvy, topsy-turvy. Good issue. Compared to the last issue, which I thought was a bit of a lull in quality, I feel this one's picked it straight back up. And we finally get the love story, I feel, because this is what it was advertised as, the last love story. And we do seem to get, you know, spoilers, you know, they finally have that embrace, you know. William and Nika, their stories have been switched over. They seem to have rewritten history. The Trillium flower is still there. There seems to be a lot of it on this world that Nika's found, because the temple is a portal to this world where there's loads of these temples and Trillium flowers. I'd like to know who this statue is in the back. So we've still only got one issue, but there's a lot of questions still to be answered. We've got this weird girl who seems to be probably, in my opinion, maybe the daughter of Nika and William, or the son of Nika and William. You can't see if that's a boy or a girl. Seems to have features of both the characters. And then at the end we get the the Athabian language, so you can go back and translate everything. My friend Ross and I actually did that already because we're really cool. But it was great fun. It added an extra layer to the book, which, you know, is a good story. I can't wait for next month's issue to be to come out, and then I can reread it all as the 8-part series. Trillium, really good book. Jeff Lemire, fantastic. Alrighty. Only one Marvel book this week. Shocking, I know. Punisher. Compared to my one DC last week, I guess only one Marvel this week. Punisher, Nathan Edmondson, Mitch Gerards. I love this book. I love the art in it. I love the story in it. The Punisher seems to... We're focusing more on the other people in the Punisher. The Punisher is just the means for the story. the real story is surrounding the Punisher with the Dust Souls gang and the police, and then we've got the I can't remember what they're called. The Howling Commandos. You've got more of the Howling Commandos in this. I'm not sure who they're working for. I love this book. The ending was awesome. We've got Punisher throwing down like he does. I've definitely come round to this balaclava wearing Punisher. I think it really is. It adds that extra layer of horror. When you see someone in a skull balaclava with machine guns and whatnot, you're going to poop yourself a little. Mitch Gerard's art is fantastic. I really love this cover. These covers are brilliant. If you're not picking up the Punisher, in my opinion, I think if you enjoy the Punisher, you enjoy this character of the Punisher, but you're put off because it's not the last run, because the last run was so good. This is actually really good as well. I mean, it's a completely different kettle of fish. I thoroughly enjoy it. And my God, I completely forgot about this book, apart from the fact that it's on my wall. Jupiter's Legacy. This is brilliant. Mark Millar and Frank Quitely. Just on a side note, anybody in England or anybody who has access to BBC iPlayer, which is the online catch-up service that BBC provides, there was a really interesting 30-minute documentary on Frank Quitely and the day in the life of Frank Quitely. I think it was on the other day. You can still catch it on iPlayer. It's worth a watch. It's only half an hour. I'm a big fan of Frank Quitely, and we actually get to see him do this page in the book. So we've got basically, if you don't know about Jupiter's Legacy, I think I will probably do a catch-up video reviewing the first 4 issues together. So I'm not going to talk too much about it in this issue. I love it. We've got Chloe, Brandon, and I can't remember the son's name. I think it's Jason. They're hiding from Chloe's father, who's actually dead, so really Chloe's uncle and cousin, I think, or maybe brother. Can't remember quite the family ties between them. These are the next generation of superheroes. Their parents got the powers. Their parents were the original superheroes, the original Justice League. So these were celebrity children, you know, the Paris Hiltons of the superhero world. They were playboys, you know, they went around, they partied all night, got drunk, they didn't really do their superhero duties. And this is a really interesting tale of, you know, the dynamic between what they should be doing compared to what they're actually doing, and whether or not superheroes should actually, you know, help run the country, because that's what happens in this book as well. I will do a review of the 4 issues of thoughts video on the Jupiter's Legacy so far, so I know not many people are reading it. I really enjoy it. I think it's a fantastic book. And my top 3 this week, all from DC. We've got Earth 2, Tom Taylor, Nicola Scott. This book just goes strength to strength, issue to issue. We got the death of Atom, it seems like, who seems to have his arm cut off by Superman. And then Superman then used said arm to bitch slap Atom in the face and break his neck. As ways of dying, I don't think there is a very more humiliating way of being killed, having your arm cut off and then slapped with it to death. We've got an interesting book between we've got interesting thoughts between the World Army and Atlantis, who seem to have this deal, but that deal's broken by Project Beyond, which is the secret project to try and save humanity, send them out on this arc into space, very reminiscent of what happened to Superman. And Superman recognises that things don't really go well, they don't go to plan. Batman seems to have this plan of action. We don't really get to see too much of the plan, what he wants to do. He's talking to, I can't remember his name, it's this man here, he's the leader of the World Army. And they're trying to come up with a plan, and really the plan didn't work. This Project Beyond does not work because, spoilers, yeah, Superman basically destroys this arc. There's 5 million dead people just floating in space now. I really don't know how this is going to end with, you know, Earth 2. you know, 5 million people just killed my Superman. I imagine there's plenty more casualties. What's going to be left after they finally deal with Superman? The ending was very interesting, sort of goes back to the first lot of stories with Sloane and Mr. Terrific and Mr. Miracle. Is it Mr. Terrific? Yeah, I think so. And Mr. Miracle, they seem to be under control of Desaad. I think it's Desaad. Anyway, I can't wait to see what happens next week. Next issue. The Superman and the villains finally realise that Batman has a Kryptonian. And I can't imagine they're going to be too pleased with that. Earth 2, brilliant book. I was a toss-up between these two books, but I have to go. My second book of the week was Green Arrow, Outsiders War. This is, was it part 4? Yeah, part 4 of the Outsiders War, issue 29 of Green Arrow. Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino. This cover focuses on the Axe Clan, but actually in the issue it's more focused on the Spear Clan. Spear Chuckle! Really fantastic artwork again. We've got some backstory with Komodo and the Emmy, her Ollie's stepsister. And there's some backstory about how Komodo is persuading her that all the queens are evil, and Shadow, her mother, was killed by the evil queens. And we know that's not true. We know she's not dead. We got the uprising of this new leader of the Spear Clan. We've got Ollie in Prague, which is where this is all set. He's got the sarin gas, which he realised is being planted all over. Or it's on this boat, and it's going to be shipped off across Europe. So he managed to stop this boat with all this sarin gas, and you realise that wasn't the only boat. You know, he thought he'd saved them all. Fantastic artwork here. He calls this, I think he calls this the umbrella arrow. It basically, you fire it into the sky and these fireworks of arrows come down, and that destroys quite a lot of the Spear Clan. That was really good. And then the next thing we've got is Arrow confronting the Outsiders. So we've got Onyx, we've got Komodo, and we've got this new Spear Clan leader. Fantastic artwork here. I mean, Onyx just goes like, she's leader of the Fist Clan. She's like, oh, Fist meet Arrow. Punch in the face. And Emmy, who is Ollie's stepsister, or half-sister, is convinced that she is the one that wants to kill Ollie because of what happened to her mother. Only she realises in this issue that Komodo was lying and that Shadow isn't dead and that her mother is alive. Fantastic ending. I really don't want to spoil it. I just want to say someone takes an arrow to the head. Alright. Who that is, that's up to you to find out. If you're not picking up Green Arrow, it's probably the best book you're not picking up. Especially this Outsiders War. I would, in my opinion, read the whole of Jeff Lemire's and Sorrentino's run. But if you can't, definitely pick up this Outsiders War. It's brilliant. And holy crap. Forever Evil Part 6. I was such a Derry Downer on Forever Evil. I thought it was never going to end. This was a fantastic book. This was the first book I read, and actually after reading all my other books I had to go back and read it again, because I was like, it couldn't have been that good. It wasn't as good as I thought. Couple of questions obviously asked about this book, where I'm like, would this hooded villain, this hooded superhero slash villain, would his powers work in this dimension? Because does his pantheon of gods exist in this dimension? I don't know. He's so awesome. We get this brilliant bit with Captain Cold and Atomica. No, not Atomica. It's the Flash. I can't remember what he's called. Johnny Quick. And then Black Manta is just an absolute badass. He kills a character, just that's the way he rolls. Brilliant page here with the Crime Syndicate taking out, or trying to take out Sinestro and the rest of the Injustice League. We've the other side story, or not even side story, the other plot is with Nightwing, and he's got this murder machine, which is a bomb strapped to his heartbeat, and as soon as his The only way to stop this bomb, to disarm the bomb, is to disarm, is to stop Dick's heart, basically. To stop Dick's heart, yep. And Lex Luthor realises this, but Batman is not too happy about it. It was a brilliant book. I mean, it was a complete page turner. I literally was like, no, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then, okay, Captain Cold, this is his badass moment here. He kicks off, he basically freezes Johnny Quick's leg and then kicks it off. He shatters Johnny Quick's leg. He's never going to run again. Yeah, something to do with Shazam and something to do with the hooded villain / superhero. I'm not sure what he is yet. I cannot wait for next issue. This was a fantastic book. In fact, spoilers for Forever Evil. But the hooded man was Alexander Luthor from Earth 3. And he seems to be the Shazam of that world. But he also says, I'm going to kill every single one of you, and Alexander Luthor shall be the most powerful hero your world has ever seen. So he says he's going to kill all of them, but then he wants to be a hero, so maybe he's that misguided or something, I don't know. And he's called Mazash, the opposite of Shazam. I really can't wait to see what happens in issue 7. Blew me away, this book. Genuinely, I wasn't expecting that much from it. I'm all Forever Eviled out. I thought I was. And then this book came around and it turned it around for me. Great issue. Just real quickly, I will show you what else I managed to pick up this week. I do have issue 1 as well, but I lent that to a friend. Managed to pick up the first 4 issues of Black Science. All first prints. I've only read issue 1 of this. I'm going to read issue 2, 3, 4 later on. I've only heard great things. Issue 1 was brilliant, obviously. And like Jupiter's Legacy, I might do it in the same video, actually, do a double Jupiter's Legacy back-to-back with Black Science, just a 4-issue catch-up on those books. Now, I'm sorry this has gone on for way too long, but it was 2 weeks of books, so you got to see, what was that, 17 books this week, 20 including these 3. Thank you very much if you managed to stick all the way through. Please comment down below on what you thought of the books and what you thought of my thoughts and whether or not you agree with them or not. Click that like, and if you're new here, please subscribe. It means the world to me. You can catch me on Twitter. I'm not actually that much on Twitter. I'm more on Facebook. Twitter, I just tend to follow other people and see what they have to say. I'm still getting to grips with it. It's all a bit confusing for me. We'll see anyway. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next weekend, or next week, I promise.